Alright, so in the last video we made it so that we could fetch our bookmarks from MongoDB in Meteor. Now what we want to do is we want to be able to add them through the application as well. So we're going to create another component. So let's go to the components folder, create another folder inside of it, and we're going to call this one bookmark-form. Alright, and just like the list component, we're going to have two files, bookmark-form.ts and bookmark-form.html. Alright, so in the bookmark form TS, I'm just going to copy what we have in the bookmark list component and paste that in. And we do want to keep all this stuff. Now, as I said before, the error, the red lines here, I'm not really sure why. It must have something to do with the editor, and it's not seeing Mongo Meteor correctly. But everything is working, so just kind of disregard these lines. All right, now we do need to import a couple other things here. So we want to bring in the form builder. We want to bring in control group and also validators. Okay, and those are all going to come from Angular Common. Alright, and then let's change this to bookmark-form. We'll change this to bookmark-form. And let's see, down here we'll change this class. And let's see, we're going to say, get rid of this and say bookmark form is going to be a control group. And then, actually, you know what, let's get rid of this. And the rest we'll come back to after we create the form. So let's just save this for now. And then we're going to go into bookmark-form.html. And let's put an H3 here. We'll say add bookmark. And then we want a form. Okay, so first field, let's put it in a div. We're going to give it a class of form group, which is a bootstrap class. Okay, this is going to be, we're going to have a label. This is going to be the title. And then we'll have an input. It's going to have the type of text. We're going to give it a bootstrap class of form control. And we're going to give it an attribute called ng control, which has to do with the form builder. And we're just going to put title. Alright, so let's copy this form group div. And we're going to need two more. This second field is going to be the URL. So we also want to change this to URL. And then we'll have the category. Okay, then under this last div, we're going to put a button. Let's give it a class of btn and btn-primary. And that'll just say submit. Alright, and then we also need to add up in the form tag here. We're going to put some brackets and ng form model. Okay, we want to set this to, let's say, bookmark form. Alright, and then we're just going to add an ID here of F and set that to ng form. And then we also need a submit event here. So when this is submitted, it'll call add bookmark. And we just want to pass in f.value. Alright, so let's save that, and then we'll go back to bookmark form TS. and we're going to go in the constructor. And in the constructor, we're going to say let FB equals new form builder, which is a function. Alright, and then we're going to say this dot bookmark form equals FB dot group. And in here, we're going to pass in an object. We're going to say title, which will be, we'll set some brackets. And this is where we can set our validators. So we're going to say validators dot required. Okay, so we're making the title field required. And I want to do the same with the other two, so we're going to copy that. And let's change this one here to URL. Okay, we'll change this one to category. Alright, so that's it for the constructor. Now we need to create the add bookmark function, which is what will be called when that form is submitted. And we're just going to pass in bookmark. And then in here, let's do an if statement. We're going to say if this dot bookmark form dot valid. Okay, so if everything up here is okay, if it's all required, then we're going to say bookmarks dot insert, and let's pass in an object. We're going to say title is going to be bookmark dot title URL, and category. Alright, and then down here under, let's see, we want to go under this, and let's put in a set of parentheses, and we're going to say control dot this dot bookmark form dot controls, and this is going to be for the title field. So title dot update value to nothing. Alright, basically what we want to do is just clear the form after everything is submitted. Alright, actually there shouldn't be a dot here. So control this dot bookmark form dot controls title, and then we're going to update the value to nothing. Okay, and then we'll just copy this, and let's do the same for URL and category. Alright, let's go ahead and save that. Now we have to insert the component, so let's go to app.html, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this column to be, or this div to be 7 columns, and right above it we're going to put in another div here, which is going to be call md5. Alright, and then in here we're going to say bookmark form. Save that. Alright, so this is saying while processing files, let's take a look at bookmark form HTML. Oh, so it looks like these inputs just weren't capped off with the greater than. Alright, so we're not getting any errors. Now we can't see it because we have to add it to app.ts, just like we did with the bookmarks list. So let's copy that and change this to bookmark form. And then we'll just add it down here. Save it. Alright, so I think everything's in place. Let's go ahead and try to add a link here. We'll say Twitter. Submit. Okay, so it got added. Reload. And it's still there. Good. So we can now add webmarks or bookmarks. So really quickly, I just want to add the delete functionality because that's pretty simple. So if we go to our bookmark list HTML, that's where we have our delete button. And what we want to do is just add in an event here. Let's say click. Okay, so when it's clicked, it's going to call a function called remove bookmark, and then we just want to pass in bookmark. Save it, and then let's go to bookmarkslist.ts, and we're going to create remove bookmark. And we're going to say bookmarks dot remove, and then we just need to pass in bookmark dot underscore ID. Save that, and I'm going to try to remove webmark 1, delete, and it's gone. So we can now add and remove bookmarks. So in the next video, we're going to implement the router, and we want to be able to have a page that we can go to that'll show us just the information for one particular bookmark. All right, so we'll get into that next.